Hello and welcome in this special segment. Today we have Senior Counsel Mr. Gopal Jain with us. And the topic that entire Goa is discussing right now is the Supreme Court order that came yesterday. What are its implications? What does it mean for Goa? We'll try to know from Sir. Sir, first of all, initially you heard the order, you read the order. What are your first impressions?
My first impression is it's a very positive sign that the ore which is lying there can be transported, because I think resumption of economic activity is linked to livelihood and almost to life, particularly with a 7 month COVID sort of period through which we've been, and also Goa itself has been afflicted by the fact that there hasn't been any economic activity. So I think it's a very strong positive sign that the ore can be transported.
One question that is very crucial here is regarding the continuance. I mean, although petitioners said that because of COVID, they could not utilize the time frame given earlier. How significant is this from a point of law, where Supreme Court, after so much hue and cry on ground, Supreme Court has said that, okay, this ore belongs to the mining companies and they can take it out. How significant it is from your point of view?
No, I think both the extension of time which the court has granted and, as you said, the significance that the ore belongs to these companies and they can utilize it is again a positive sign, because in a situation of overall distress and in a situation where people have been adversely affected, particularly the lives of the ordinary Goan, I think this will act like a bit of a, if I may use the word, a small vaccine, a little bit of.
Yeah, and right now Goa's economy needs as many vaccines as possible because we are in such dire state right now. One question that arises is regarding the objections raised by the NGOs. They had raised number of objections and why this transportation should not be allowed. How do you think Supreme Court has dealt with it, and whether those arguments hold any water right now?
Well, I think we have to see this order flowing from the earlier order, or I believe it was of January 2020. And as far as I read it, I think the court has given a very clear signal that the process of transportation must go on. If there was a break or a hiatus, then I'll give you further time. So I think after hearing the contention, they've given a positive direction for this. That I read as a very, again, as a good, strong signal which goes. And it's a considered order after hearing all the contesting parties or the voices, different voices which come. But I think most importantly, this is an important time for stakeholders to think in the interests of the state, the economy, and the people. This is not a time to have adversarial fights. And I think courts also will realize that Goa in particular has had virtually no economic activity. I believe salaries to government staff has not been paid. So in times of need, I think everyone has to think out of the box, innovatively and constructively for resolution of issues, not for conflicts and disputes. So I see this order in that context as a positive step forward.
Goa government is fighting in the Supreme Court for extension of the time period as far as the leases are concerned. Do you think this order gives it a strength, gives it some impetus, or we have to look at this order in isolation? That is a separate issue. This is a separate issue.
Well, I think purely legally they're separate issues, but if one looks at messaging, signal, or what I call a positive takeaway, it can certainly add to that whole exercise. It cannot detract from that exercise.
Final question, sir. What do you think government of Goa and mining industry as a whole needs to do now? Okay, you got this order. It allows you to function till January 31st. It allows you to transport ore till January 31st. What should be the priority of government, Goa and mining industry as a whole right now?
I think the priority has to be what I call a much more collaborative effort where people act in tandem, because at the end of the day, as I said, both are equally concerned with the lives and livelihood of the people of Goa, its economy. And I think if a sector does well, the economy and the state does well. So I think both should work towards effective implementation of the order so that the direction which has been given for transportation can be carried out, and the state must play a proactive and supporting role as a facilitator to make sure that this can happen within the time period which has been given by the court.
Gopal sir, thanks a lot for talking to us. I think very important insights, and I hope that Chief Minister listens to this interview because there are many points that he can pick up from here, which will help his own cause. Thanks a lot for talking to us.
Yeah, I think I've tried to link the ground zero situation
Absolutely.
to the takeaway from the order. So I think if there's an impact at ground zero, that's I think what will create that positive sentiment in the people.
Absolutely. So thanks a lot for talking to us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Yeah.